Hi, everybody. Welcome to your lesson that's all about moon phases. Okay, so this one can be a little bit tricky, so hang with me, all right? Moon phases is this phenomenon where the moon appears to be changing shape throughout the month, right? But we all know that the moon is not actually changing shape, but what is happening is that the sun is shining on the moon, and from our perspective here on Earth, we can see a little bit more of the moon as it moves more into the sun's light from our perspective. Let me explain this a little bit more. So let's say that we have the sun over here on this side, and then we are here on Earth, okay? Now, obviously, the Earth is bigger than the moon, so I was going to draw that a little bit bigger. And the sun is shining this way. Boop, 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 boop. And here's the moon. We're talking about this moon right here. So here, the sun is shining on this side of the moon, but from our perspective here on Earth, we cannot see the moon because the side that we can see is in the shadow. Okay? As the moon starts to revolve around the Earth, going this way, more and more of the moon can be seen as it gets into the sun's light. So for example, if the sun is still over here, but now the moon is over in this position, the side that we can see of the moon is all in the sun's light, okay? And then it goes slowly back out of the light as it comes back around, and it starts the process all over again. Make sure that you check out my demonstration video that's linked right below this one. It will do a great job of demonstrating this process for you, so make sure that you check it out. Okay, so what is really happening? When we learn about the moon phases, we need to know that the white on the right is gaining light. So when you see white on the right, it's going to gain light. As it continues moving, we've got more and more light that's showing, okay? When the white is on the left, it's losing light. So now we're losing the light that we have, and we're going back to being in the total darkness, okay? So we have waxing versus waning. So I like to think about Karate Kid and how Mr. Miyagi would say, wax on, wax off. Remember, wax on, okay? So when it's wax on, the light is turning on, okay? So when we think of wax on, we're thinking of gaining light, okay? Wax is on the right. Wane off is decreasing. So that waning is when the light would be on the left and you're losing the light. Okay, now when we talk about gibbous versus a crescent, well, you guys know what a crescent is, a crescent shape. Think of those delicious crescent rolls that are in a crescent shape. And then the word gibbous actually means bulge. And so you can see here on the two gibbuses, you see that there's like a little bulge sticking out right there. That will help you as well. Okay, so a waxing crescent is a crescent shape on the right side, whereas a waning gibbous would be a bulging happening on the left. Okay. So let's continue talking. Now we've got the new moon versus the full moon. So the new moon is what happens when the moon is near the sun. So remember I said just a second ago that we've got the sun and we've got the earth, and when the moon is in between us, the sun will shine on only this side of the moon. We can't see it. It looks like it's not there at all. We know it is, but we can't see it because the sun is shining on the part of the moon that we can't see. This is when the moon is near the sun. The full moon happens when the moon is far from the sun, when the moon travels around and is now on this side of the earth, furthest from the sun. The sun is shining on this side of the moon, and we can see the whole thing, it looks like. We've got this perfect circle in the sky. This is the full moon, okay? So remember, moon phases are what we can see from our perspective here on Earth. Make sure that you watch that video, okay? It will do a great job of demonstrating that for you. Um, Now I've got another little thing that I'd like to show you before we move on. Here we go. So solar and lunar eclipses can happen during the new and or full moon phases. Okay, so during the new moon phase is when we have a solar eclipse. That is, we just had one recently, and we had one in 2023. This is a picture that happened in 2017. This is one that actually my dad took over here with his telescope. My dad's an astronomer. He loves this stuff. This is what happens when the new moon, so the one that we can't see because the wrong side of it's being lit up by the sun, it creeps in line between us and the sun and it starts to block out the sun. Okay, and so that would be a solar eclipse. Okay, now a lunar eclipse is when the full moon, so the one that's far from the sun on the opposite side of the earth, this one is what happens when they become in alignment. Okay, the earth, sun, and moon are directly lined up, but the moon is at the furthest point away from the sun. Okay, and this is when the earth actually casts a shadow on the moon. Okay, and so the moon appears to be this beautiful glowishing red color. All right, so if you have any questions, I know this one's kind of a doozy. If you have any questions, make sure that you reach out and watch the video that's posted below this. I promise it will help. Okay, good luck, you guys.